It's a very humbling experience to film children. You adapt. I mean, there's no directing, there's no, they're the ones in charge. So it's an odd dance in between engaging and disappearing. The first game was just a chance encounter. I mean, I saw this kid kicking a bottle up a hill and relentlessly chasing the bottle, going up and down the hill. We're talking about back in the late 90s, so the first game was a long time ago. It didn't become a focused project until recently. For a long time, it was essentially a way of making contact with a place where I would be invited to develop a project. The games don't compete with one another, they complete one another. Each new game is like tabula rasa. I mean, you start from zero again. I mean, there's no rules. Each kid is different, each culture or environment is different. I mean, you have to each time reinvent a way of engaging in a language and how you're going to tell this story. Because there's always a micro story in each game. Would it be because the children become characters? Would it be because the context brings in a strong component?
Childhood is something that should be profoundly respected as a right. What is precious is the space, the physical space and the time to play.
Rafael has got a much more cinematic approach. I have a much more what he calls a punk approach. There's a chemistry, we always know where the other is. And when we film together, it's like a dance, like an old couple, sort of thing.
There's no script, it's life. It's very, very difficult to actually deal with the memories of people. And game and play are one of the fondest, most frustrating, painful, happy memories that people have. What I think that happens in the show is that we don't really know which film triggers the memory for the people. It establishes a common ground.
It's all a matter of interact and become part of the game and also being absolutely invisible. The places where I worked, often they were going through some sort of conflict. Sadly, it represents a large portion of the planet. And I think it's important to represent within those circumstances how do kids react, what are their ways of coping. And play is definitely a way of turning their reality into a more fictional or ludic environment. It's a dimension of playing which I'm very much interested in, how it has a sort of healing power. And also it helps children finding their place, I mean, within the sort of cruel or violent or absurd adult environment they live in. There's certain gestures that can only be expressed through, in this particular case, animation. The gesture of the hands doing this is so simple that it takes the magic of the line. I don't know if transcend it or just make people notice, pay attention to that very simple movement. Children playing on the street were part of the urban reality. Nowadays it becomes rarer and rarer to find them. Makes me think that it's important to register that micro-society within the sort of adult world.
It's like testing how to become human. I think that's what's fascinating for me. Relating to others, competing with others, conceding to others. If our children are losing their capacity to learn that, it makes it more difficult for all of us to build a structure that holds together. No?